What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Allen, and this is the Movie Minute. As you can tell, we have a different backdrop today. This is my little nerd corner, and I wanted to let you guys in on a new little series I'm going to start doing, which is just called What I'm Watching. I would love to just talk every week about what am I watching this week and kind of hear what you guys are watching. And so just a nice little dialogue and a little bit of an opportunity for you guys to get kind of a view into my entertainment life. I love to watch movies and shows. I like a very large, vast variety of things. As you will see this week in this episode of What I'm Watching, you will be like, whoa, this guy watches a lot of different types of things. And it is true. I love everything, guys. I love documentary. I love television. I love reality television sometimes. I like movies. And so I am kind of all over the place. I have a really obviously strong classics background as well of just stuff that I have nostalgia with that I watch often. And so this is kind of just a little bit of a series to get to know me better. And I want to get to know you guys better in the comments and hear about what you are watching this week. So without further ado, let's jump into the first episode of What I'm Watching. First of all, for those of you that don't know, some of you might turn it off right now. I love sports. I love football. I played football growing up. I played a lot of sports growing up. Baseball, volleyball, soccer. So, for those of you that don't know, this is really fantasy football week. Lots of football going on. NFL's about to kick off. We're coming up into also, obviously, the end of baseball season. Baseball playoffs coming up. So, what am I watching this week? First, I'm watching Hard Knocks. Really interesting show. I really love this show. It's a great voyeuristic look into the business world of the NFL and like who some of these NFL players really are. And this season, they are covering the New York Jets, for those of you that don't know, Aaron Rodgers just joined the Jets after being with the Packers for the entirety of his career. And so it's just really interesting drama, really well edited as well. It's just a really well edited series. One of the best, I think, ongoing documentary series that I've ever watched. I mean, they've been doing this for over a decade, and it's really, really good stuff, really entertaining, and really well structured in terms of narrative. And so they do a really good job. So that's one first thing I'm watching. Second thing I'm watching is another sports documentary, if you haven't checked it out. On Netflix, they dropped the series Quarterback, and I've been watching that series, and it's really, really good. Just cool to kind of get an inside view of the lives of these NFL quarterbacks and what they deal with. I think they really went and they chose kind of superstar with Pat Mahomes. They chose like a guy who just can't seem to land it with Kirk Cousins, who, I mean, he's been close to the Super Bowl multiple times. He's had great teams, just hasn't been able to really close the deal. And then they went with Marcus Mariota, who I would say, and most people would say, is kind of almost a washout quarterback who had really high expectations, and they really just didn't deliver in the NFL. And so they really give you an interesting narrative with those three characters. It's been really, really well done. So those are first two shows. Second, I have jumped back in that every year, maybe even sometimes twice a year, I will jump back into The Lord of the Rings. I love The Lord of the Rings. I got the soundtrack right here behind me. I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I watch the series at least once a year, sometimes even twice a year. And so this week I got back in. I'm watching Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Just finished that, actually. And I mean, is there any other way to watch those movies other than the extended versions? So I'm watching the extended versions. All 3 hours and 45 minutes of that movie is just glorious, and I love it. So I'm going to be moving on into Two Towers probably next week. Probably won't fit in Two Towers this week. And so that's been my nostalgia watch. That's been my nostalgia watch for the week. I was thinking about going to the theater this week, but Equalizer 3 is in, and a movie called The Hill is in, and there's a couple other little ones, Bottoms, but just none of them really was clicking with me, and I kind of was feeling this pressure of like, do I have to go to the movie theater and review a movie? And it's kind of like, no, I don't. I don't have to go. And there will be times like that when I don't go, because Equalizer 3 could be good, I think, but I'm just not a John Wick type guy, right? The like high action, killing, revenge movie. And so it's just not something that's in my wheelhouse. And so I thought I'm not going to go see that. The Hill is also something that doesn't fully fall into my wheelhouse of like what I really want to go see in the movie theater. I mean, I've heard it's good. It's a feel-good movie. It's a faith-based movie. So there's some things that come with it that sometimes, there's some really great things about it and also some things that just don't really click well with them. And so I decided not to go see it. So the last thing I'm watching, I'm sure many of you are thinking in your heads, what is he watching, what is he watching? And you probably have it, is the last thing that I'm focused on trying to watch this week or get to is Ahsoka. And I mean, I'll say, I am a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. But I am not like a diehard Star Wars fan, like the guy that goes and watches everything. And so I've heard some rumors about Ahsoka, and I mean, maybe you guys can clear it up in the comments. I've heard that a lot of it is based off of Rebels and is almost like a continuation of the Rebel series. And as good as it was, it felt a little bit kiddish. I mean, a lot like the Clone Wars did when I first started watching Clone Wars, but it didn't get off to the greatest start. It wasn't bad, just wasn't moving well enough for me. It felt a little bit too much for kids for me. So I moved on. I've had several people tell me it gets very good as it gets further on in, and so I kind of want to watch it more. So I've been a little hesitant to watch Ahsoka because I've been worried that if I watch Ahsoka, I'm like, am I really going to understand what's going on? Like, because I don't know the characters from Rebels that well. And so been a little hesitant. I've watched the first episode, and I did enjoy the first episode. And so I'm looking forward to getting into that further this week, maybe watching the next episode, and hopefully maybe catching some Rebels here and there. I might look at some definitive lists and figure out what's essential for Ahsoka, if there is anything. And so that really kind of wraps up what I'm watching. I can give a little preview as well for this next week. I think I'm going to try to go see My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I mean, that movie has a special place in my heart because I'm Italian, and the family dynamics of Greek families are fairly similar to Italian families. And so I feel like I really would enjoy that aspect of the movie, even though it might not be a great movie. But there are things that have looked really funny that really reminded me a little bit of like About My Father that I watched earlier this year, that although About My Father wasn't good, I still appreciated a lot of the jokes, and I laughed quite a bit just because of my own personal experience growing up, of growing up in an Italian family. And so I really am interested in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I am not interested in The Nun. I will not be seeing that movie. Maybe I need to get a little horror partner on my channel because I am not a big horror movie fan. I will watch them typically with groups of people during the Halloween season. I do not go to movie theaters and watch horror films by myself late at night because I can only go see movies late at night. I have 4 kids. It's the only time I can find to go see those movies. And so I am not going to go see The Nun at 9:30 at night, getting out at almost midnight, and then walking to my car alone and driving home alone. Heck no. Will not be doing that. We'll never be doing that. So you can forget about Exorcist, Believer. We'll not be seeing that in theaters either. And so, yeah. So that kind of wraps up first episode of what I'm watching. I have a couple more things planned in the future, but I would love to make this kind of a weekly touch point and hear from you guys. That's really the biggest thing. I would love to hear in the comments from you guys. What are you guys watching? I mean, I always love hearing about new stuff, new shows, new movies, old movies, Criterion Collection, classics that people are watching, because I am very much, I have ADD when it comes to entertainment. Like, I jump around. Something like hits me one week and I'm like, oh, gonna watch Harry Potter this week. Something else hits me this week and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go watch, Lawrence of Arabia this week, because I very much I ebb and flow on my emotions, and that connects to entertainment. And so things will pop up and I'll be like, I'm totally watching that this week. So with all that to say, drop in the comments what you guys are watching this week. Let me know what you are looking forward to this week, and hope to see you guys next week on the next episode of What I'm Watching, or on my weekend review next week. Peace out.